So, what in the world do I mean by black writer find your voice? Why gotta be black? Huh? Well, let's talk about it. So, I'm Harry Hawkins, and this is Black Writer Find Your Voice. And I want to explain a little bit about what I mean by that and why that's important. And let me adjust this a little bit there. There we go. The reason why this is important is because, well, I'll just jump in here first. In case you didn't notice, I'm a black man. That's important to me. But also, I'm a writer. And one of the things I have found in my writing journey that there are a lot of people out there, particularly black people, who should write. I want those stories, but they either need help doing it, they're scared to do it. I don't really know what the motive is, but I want to help people connect those dots. Now, this is not going to be a channel that's going to teach you how to write. There are tons and tons of great content out there for how to polish and work on the art of writing, the craft of writing. There are lots of tools that can help you do that, from grammar and spelling checks to suggestions on how to improve your writing. What this is really going to be about something that I don't see anyone else talking about. And one, that's about how to take your social location and turn it into story, right? So how to take the stuff that makes you you and turn it into something that can be read and shared by others. And I also don't see, and I'm not saying it's not out there. I've just never run into it, where people who are writing, they'll give you tips, they'll give you tricks, they'll give you processes, but nobody ever really shows you the stuff behind the scenes. And I mean, they're horrible writing. So there'll be a couple of things that we're going to do here in this channel that'll be a little bit different. One, oh, you know what? Sorry, I want to write with slightly bigger. One, we're going to talk about how to do this with your social location. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this from writers, both in person and online, where, oh, editors are saying they want more diverse characters. Let me tell you something. One, I don't want anyone, this is my preference, I don't want anyone to just take a character that was, let's say, white and just color them brown, for instance. Now, if you change a character's ethnicity, nationality, race, if you want to use that framework, sexuality, and you change that, and you don't have to change anything else about that character, about how they exist in the world, that's a token, right, in my opinion. Here's what I mean by that. Let me give you an example. If I was writing, I write science fiction and fantasy, but if I was writing a horror novel, right, let's say I was going to write a vampire movie, right, or vampire story, a lot of vampire stories do one of two things. One, they have something far off that comes to, that gets near. So you have something far off that comes near. So you have a casket from Transylvania that gets transported to the United States, and it's in a museum, and all of a sudden Dracula's now here, right? Or we have people who travel to someplace far and they encounter something scary. So people from the United States, let's say that's where I live, people from the United States go to Transylvania and they end up find themselves in Dracula's castle, right? Now, typically these are the two ways, and there are obviously many variations on this theme, but some of our basic things, right? For me, neither one of these things are really that scary, because really what we're talking about the far off, no matter how we look at it, where the direction is, really that's communicating to me a fear of other, right? There's this dark thing out there that might be dangerous, and so if we see it, we should be scared of it, or if we encounter it, we should be scared of it. If I was going to write a story about a vampire, my issue wouldn't be something far off coming near. It would be something powerful that was protected, right? So, for instance, you would have Dracula, who, because of his long life, maybe works for an investment firm. And his understanding of markets and history really gives him an edge when it comes to predicting how stocks and governments and businesses will perform, right? And so everyone knows that Dracula is killing people and sucking people's blood, but because he's making the money, people are like, well, it's just a few people here or there. So for me, the social location matters because it's going to be something that will impact how we do things. So social location to me matters, and it doesn't matter because of some political reason, right? It matters because if you don't use this, you're cheating me out of story. And yes, I said me. I want good stories. I am a story snob. I need good stories. I want them. And if I can help you get there so I can have good stories, then job well done. Okay? So in this channel, we're going to talk about social location, how to turn that into story. And what I mean by that is anyone. Now, my primary audience, what I think I'm talking to, are going to be other black people, because there are lots of advice from a white cultural framework, a Eurocentric framework on how to write. Writing industry is really dominated by companies who are owned and operated by white executives. And so a lot of this writing advice that you get doesn't really have, in my opinion, doesn't really have a lot of cultural relevance to it. So this is important for me. And if that is a problem for you, write about it, and hopefully it'll be a good story. I'd love to read that too. I don't really care. I just want a good story. All right, second piece, and this one's going to be maybe the shocker, is transparency. Now, most writers do not want to show you their crappy first drafts, but guess what? I'm going to show you my crappy first drafts, because my thought is, if you see somebody, I have a book that's published, right? You can go online and buy it. You can read it, and you can see what happens. But if you can see how I started, if you can see kind of the dirty underwear of my writing process, you might decide that, hey, my writing's not that bad. I can do something too. So, yes, Black Writer, we're going to help you find your voice. And if you're not black, then guess what? Buckle up. I'm sure you can find something from listening on what the black people are talking about too. So I appreciate it and can't wait to be on this writing journey with you all. All right, take care. Now, what I want you to do is go write.